PKN 331. First on the new computer. So we'll see how this goes.
Hopefully well. So you guys are both chomping at the bit to talk about The Mandalorian, which even though I haven't watched any of it, I've seen the reception. A lot of people seemed pretty stoked on this finale.
It was so good.
Before we go long, what's our take on spoilers on this? I want to know.
I think we should just like
spoil it, but just say right now.
You know, like we're gonna spoil. We got to spoil it if we're gonna talk about it. It's been a week. Here's my thing. I think that everybody who has Disney Plus has it to watch The Mandalorian, and so like if you're gonna watch it, then you've already watched it, and I just feel like that's the deal. And if not, just skip forward until we're not talking about The Mandalorian anymore.
All right, then consider yourself warned. We're going full spoiler.
It was great. So like,
it's ruined.
I was really worried. That we weren't
can you imagine, before we get into it, can you imagine a guy that gets upset at spoilers where you're just telling him what you thought of it? It's like, I really love the movie. God, fuck, dude. What I said.
Dude, I think I've even been that guy. There have been some films where I'm like, don't even tell me if you liked it. I want to go in cold.
Yeah.
I hated it. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. It was fantastic.
I was a little worried that they were going. So Baby Yoda got kidnapped a couple episodes ago by the Empire, or the remnants of the Empire, or whatever. And I was worried that was going to stretch into next season, that wasn't going to be resolved. But they really got things moving. Like they were like, no, we're going to take care of this in 2 episodes. Don't worry. And last episode was great with Bill Burr. We haven't even talked about that. They brought Bill Burr back. He was excellent. I really liked that episode a lot. What?
Was he a bigger part than before? Because wasn't he kind of a one episode player last time?
I mean, 1 episode. He was. It's one more episode again.
But I would think the answer is yes. 'Cause the last time he was on an episode, while he was there, he had a lot of screen time. He shared it with 6 other people. This was kind of the Bill Burr backstory.
Yeah, okay. And it was like Bill Burr and the Mandalorian like infiltrating an Empire facility and like working together. And he's being Bill Burr and being really funny. Like there's this part where they're driving together. Bill Burr's driving the like truck, and the Mandalorian's next to him, and he's just giving him a really hard time. And the Mandalorian just won't say anything. He's just looking at him through that helmet. He's like, I don't know, you got these rules, but it seems like you bend them all the time. I mean, look. Is it you got to wear the helmet all the time, or you got to wear a helmet all the time, or is you can't show your face? Because those are different things.
Yeah. So is he another bounty hunter?
No. He was he was a criminal, and he actually got arrested in his first episode, and they went and like dug him up off of a prison planet. He was like, hitting space rocks with a sledgehammer essentially. And they picked him up to infiltrate, to do like this secret mission because he had some inside info.
Yeah, he had some info or skill set that made him useful for infiltrating. So they got him out to help. And go ahead.
The season finale, though, was really good. It was the culmination of the whole season, or maybe even all 2 seasons, where they went and like got the boys back together. So they've got the fat girl. She's key to the team. They get the Asian assassin. They get 2 other Mandalorians, including Katie Sackhoff, who I'm a huge fan of, and the Mandalorian himself. And they all go on this, and Boba Fett, and they all go on this this rescue mission to save Baby Yoda. And it was all fine and good. Like it was kind of like a 6 or 7 out of 10 episode. Until you got right to the end. And there's a part where they've rescued Baby Yoda. They've got the bad guy cornered, the Moff Gideon guy who is, the bad guy from Breaking Bad. And but these like stormtrooper robots are outside the door. And they're no joke. Like they're not going to be able to beat these guys. There's like 50 of them or something.
Boba Fett. I'm sorry. The Mandalorian, just to cut you off. The Mandalorian went 1v1. They sort of demonstrated how tough they are. And he went 1v1, and it was like a 5-minute fight, and it was really even. There was some back and forth where each was on top. And our hero of the show got the best of it, of course, because everyone in this fucking show wears plot armor. And, so it's back and forth. It takes like 5 minutes to fight, which is pretty long for a fist fight. And he barely wins. And then the problem is now there's like 70, 100 more. I don't know, some big number.
Yeah.
So
and
you're
so
like,
all the heroes are like barricaded in the bridge of the spaceship, and the bad guys are out there like beating on the door, like they're coming in. And Moff Gideon is like, this is inevitable. They're gonna come in here. You're gonna put up a good fight, I'm sure.
No,
They're gonna kill you all, and I'm gonna be left standing here. And you're like, yeah, that's pretty much what's gonna happen. Like, there's
and
no
I'm
way.
like, we could shoot you right now, right? Like, that would just be super simple.
That's what I was thinking. I would have immediately shot him.
Yeah, so much for that plan.
Yeah, but you die first. Get it? Like, that's how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then like an X-wing fighter pulls up outside the ship, and they're like, one X-wing, and I was like, wait a minute, who's in the X-wing? And like they do this super slow reveal where like you see a cloaked figure, you see it through like security cameras, and you see like a cloaked figure like going through the ship, and he pulls out a green lightsaber, and I'm in here just like, yes, because like the guy who carries a green lightsaber in Star Wars is Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
I'm just melting down over here, like how cool this is.
Oh,
And
he's
he
the only
just
one?
essentially he's the only like one
That's his
of that.
calling card.
Yoda
like
had one too, but like this is clearly like a tall man.
Yeah,
And-
not a little goblin.
He's not a little goblin. Plus Yoda's dead at this point in time in Star Wars history.
Uh-oh.
And he just cuts his way through like 50 of these like super troopers, like force throwing them. One of them he just goes, "Argh!" like with his hand in the air, and the trooper just implodes. like he just starts shaking and like crushes in on himself, and he just cuts them all to pieces.
And they shoot at him a lot, but he does that thing with this lightsaber where he can deflect it. And I guess a lightsaber's the best weapon there is. I don't even know a better one. Maybe that one that blows up planets.
It would be a phaser or whatever that shoots segments of a lightsaber as the laser,
But lightsabers block lightsabers.
Okay, well, a stronger lightsaber.
Okay, now
If you
you're talking.
shot Luke Skywalker.
Now we're
I'll tell you right now.
again.
I'll tell you right now. I could kill Luke Skywalker in a second with a Remington 870 because he can only block so much of that shot.
He seemed to block a whole lot of blaster shots.
Yeah, but
though.
it's like a bolt. It's like a chunk.
Oh,
of
it's a
something.
buckshot. I didn't process that right away.
He's hitting one projectile
He's
at a
hitting
time.
force. I
way
don't know.
slower in Star Wars. Like the actual projectile, you can track it with your eyes. A real bullet, like even a single shot, you could fuck him up. Like he's not gonna be able to block that.
Shouldn't blasters go at the speed of light? Just
I don't know what they're blasting.
Really
I don't know if
slowly.
those are supposed to be lasers or if that's supposed to be some sort of a hot projectile or some sort of energy beam. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's made up. So the answer is no, Woody. They're traveling at exactly the speed they're supposed to travel.
Roger. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Then, I agree. You got me. Now, the one that I seem to be the only person that's not wildly impressed with The Mandalorian. Like I like it. 6 out of 10 it. I enjoy it on the same level that I enjoy like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Some of the episodes are high. Some of the episodes are good. None of them are truly like I want my time back. But the plot armor is so powerful in this show. Has literally no one ever died who mattered? Ever? Anyone?
In this show?
In the 2 seasons of Mandalorian.
No, not really that I can think of. I don't think anyone has died.
I'm comparing it to Game of Thrones because it's some people would argue that it's the best thing on TV right now, and it was for some period of time. And I'm like, man, no, there's no clever speeches. There's no turns you didn't see coming. There's nothing.
There's some catchphrases.
Yeah, there's 2.
This is the way.
This is the way,
love
and what was the one that the old man said? Was it this?
I don't
is
know who the old man is.
He rode like an
I have
animal.
spoken.
I have spoken. Yeah. I think I have spoken is even better than
I
this is
love
the way.
that.
But
Yeah, that was Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte? Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I didn't know that. But yeah, I have spoken. I think I like more than This Is the Way. But they're both very good. I just can't get over the idea. Like, first of all,
Nick Nolte died. That's right.
The actor?
No, the character that he portrayed.
Oh.
I need to look into it.
It's a little goblin man, actually.
Yeah. Are you sure he wasn't in a more recent one? I'm sure you're right.
Oh, I'm positive.
You wouldn't get that
like,
wrong.
At the end of season 1, like he got shot carrying Baby Yoda, and the stormtroopers took him, and he's just laid out on the planet surface dead.
Well,
why even hire a famous guy to play a character that dressed up?
Oh, he just voiced the character. The same reason you hire, Pedro Pascal to voice the Mandalorian, right?
How much weight did Pedro gain? And is he dating that Two Cows chick, Gina Carano? Am I crazy?
You think he's gained weight?
I could be wrong. I thought his face looked wildly different than...
What's the incentive not to gain weight? He's not even a...
He's
right?
He's been taking his mask off constantly lately.
We saw his face twice this year and once last year.
So, tell me if you think he still looks like this. I mean, he's chubby faced now, right?
I don't know, man. Here he is at 20. All right, here, 2020 red carpet. Here's a photo.
Let's see what we got here. Yeah, he looks good to me. That just looks like he's getting older.
Oh,
starting to get like some skin saggage. Because how old is he? He's older than you.
He's older than me?
I bet he is. 45. Close. Okay, your age.
Yeah, well I look older too, so I can't throw too many stones, but I don't know. I just see him as like he was chiseled and he had a jawline and now he has two chins and I'm the only one who sees this.
I mean, I don't think he's gained a substantial amount of weight, and it's kind of hard to tell because we so rarely see his character at all. He's in that mask.
That Actors Guild Award, whatever. Yeah, like my thought would never be looking at that like, oh my goodness, he's chubby. Like he looks perfectly healthy to me. Looks like he's picked up a weight or two since he, was in Game of Thrones, if anything.
Really? I just see his
string bean little man and not Lord of the Rings Game of Thrones.
I see his face is substantially filled out. His jawbones are now gone and they're replaced with puffy face and his chin is doubled and
we've all been there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. Dude, you gain put some real age on, right? Gain 3 pounds in a year, right? 3 pounds is not dude, you hardly notice it happen, right? 3 pounds in 1 year, it's nothing. You can gain 3 pounds and lose it in a day. It's just normal fluctuation. But no, let's make it 3 pounds of actual fat. Fast forward 10 years and you've done something significant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how it happens.
That's assuming you're only gaining 3 pounds a year.
Well, fat shaming Pedro Pascal aside, I love the episode. And did you watch the post-credit scene?
I think I didn't. I didn't know about it.
I just assumed there would be one for some reason because it's the season finale.
Okay.
And so it goes to Jabba the Hutt's underground palace thing, and there's this other guy running the show there. He's got some slave girls and stuff, and Boba Fett and his Asian lady companion go down there, fucking kill everybody, and then Boba sits on the throne to some heavy set music, like dun 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 dun, and it's then there's a title scroll that said the
YouTube
Book of Boba Fett coming December 2021.
No, I read the Book of Boba Fett's not canon, or no, not that it's not canon. I read that it's not what the next season is about.
Oh no, it's what they're saying is next year, 2021 December, there's another Star Wars show called The Book of Boba Fett, in addition to a season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Okay. I just read the headline. I think I misinterpreted it a little bit.
I think a lot of people were on the fence, but that has been clarified in the last 24 or 36 hours.
Okay. So look, I'm happy to get more. It's like this. Look, it doesn't cost me anything. I already have Disney Plus. Go ahead, make 9 shows if you want. I'll see if I like them. 9's a lot.
They're going to make at least half a dozen, because so the Obi-Wan Kenobi show looks cool to me. It's going to be 1 season, by the way. It's going to be a mini series.
Isn't Obi-Wan dead? This is after the oldest trilogy, right?
what we're watching right now, the time period that we're in, is not. No, this is like Darth Luke Skywalker just defeated Darth Vader in our current time period, like recent.
So that's after Empire Strikes Back, but before Return of the Jedi.
No, it's the last of the original trilogy.
That's where I started. That's what I said at first. I called it the oldest trilogy. I didn't know how to call it. Star Wars is tricky because it's not the first three. Yeah. It's the oldest three.
Okay. Well, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show will not be set in the same time period as The Mandalorian. It'll be right after Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like 5 or 10 years after Anakin became Darth Vader, and it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's what happened after the prequel series ends, after the Clone Wars. It's post Clone Wars, so you're seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi fighting against Darth Maul and trying to keep Luke Skywalker and Leia concealed from Darth Vader.
Who else other than the Emperor was powerful enough to do the lightning attack? Because I've only ever seen one Jedi do that, and it was him. You never see Luke do it, even though if Luke's the most powerful, he could probably do something equally impressive.
I think it's just like some dark magic, you know? I think it's like in Harry Potter, where there's some spells the good guys just, they won't do.
There's not like a love beam or something like.
There's not a love, like a Care Bear thing where they shoot some love out of their chest.
Care Bear, huggy bear, just this love towards you.
Yeah, I love that show as a kid. The Care Bears.
Care Bears is all right.
I had Care Bear dolls.
All of those characters had so much plot armor. I knew they were never in danger.
The Care Bears never died. Can you believe it?
Never.
Like
I
just
share
a 3
your
out of
criticism.
10 show.
Yeah.
There were a couple times that I thought that what was his name? Arthur or Arnold, the redhead kid on Magic School Bus. I remember like it scared me a little bit, like watching that episode of that when like Miss Frizzle's just like, we're going to the moon, or like something like just announced it, or no, Pluto. They went to Pluto. This was back when Pluto was a planet, and they went there. And Arnold or whatever, everybody's like jumping around. And then Arnold's like, wow, I wonder what it would feel like out here. And like he goes to like remove his helmet and everybody's like, Arnold, no. And he just takes off. And immediately I remember the visual of just like his whole head just froze. Like an orb of like just froze. And I was like, oh my God, that is probably exactly what happened if you went to space. Obviously it's not probably.
I think it is.
But I remember even thinking, I'm like, oh no, he's not going to unthaw. He's dead. Like he's dead on the moon. But then
in some movies they depict the person like spontaneously like decompressing, and sort of exploding and like all the blood like pouring out of their eyes and stuff, like an Event Horizon.
That's like a known myth now, right?
I think so. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson, deGrasse.
I'm not judging
that one.
I remember there was a hole in either the American space, the International Space Station, or a Russian one. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. It looked like someone had drilled it. It was a perfect little circle. Yeah. And it was when I learned that, like, oh, so if you crack a door a little bit, like every monster in the spaceship doesn't just get instantly sucked out. It turns out they're at like 1 atmosphere and space is at 0, and the difference isn't that big. What's 1 atmosphere underwater? Like 6 feet, 3 feet? It might be 3 feet.
Well, like it's the pressure that we're all under right now, which is like 10 psi or something, 8 or 10 psi. So like you can just put your finger over that hole. You can take some gum and put it over that hole.
But wasn't the problem that like it's so, like what he said, not cataclysmic that you can just miss it for 2 months until it's like, oh, now we're like actually throwing off some oxygen. Or like it's
more than I thought. The pressure increases in atmosphere every 10 meters, so 32, 33 feet. So 30 feet of water going underneath that. I don't know if I've ever been that deep, but I've been nearly that deep, and it's pretty significant. You have to like blow your nose like twice, and
the deepest I've gone is like a 12-foot pool.
Yeah.
And by the time you're like, and obviously like if you're like standing on the bottom, your head's not 12 feet down, but like you're a little kid, you want to swim down all the way, and like your head gets down there.
Dude,
it's a lot of pressure.
There's stuff that I've done in the past that I think about doing now, and it fills me with terror. Just imagine like I remember one summer when I was at my lake house, and like me and two girls had jumped off the dock, and we were like swimming in the water out there at night in the lake, and I would like swim under the water and then come up to like scare them and like grab them and stuff. And at one point, I swam down as far as I could in the lake to like just see how far I could go, you know, whatever. And I swam down. Look, I don't think I swam down very far, probably just 12 feet, maybe 15, no more than that. But I swam down until it got cold.
Yeah.
Like where I was, it's like almost bath temperature water. Like, you know, it's the middle of summer in Georgia. It's hot. It's like really warm water. And I swam all the way to the bottom to the mud, and it was like cold down there. And then I swam back up and didn't think anything of it. Yeah. I think about doing that now, and it scares the fuck out of me.
It is kind of. I was at this, you know, this paragliding thing I do over water. It wasn't in Georgia. It was in California, and I went out with like a couple of people, and it's deep. It's deep enough, like. People are swimming down trying to touch the bottom and not getting it. Like this guy goes down, he's not getting it. This girl goes down, he's like, I go down, I didn't get it. We all take like another round. I don't know how deep I went. I bet it was like 18 or 20 feet. Like it was pretty deep. And I came back with the fistful of muddy rocks, and it was like, yeah. But like you said,
open your eyes? Like, are your eyes open under there, or are you just?
They were closed, but after in this lake anyway. I mean. Heck, I don't think you could see your bathing suit. It was so thick with like sediment and stuff. So
yeah,
you wouldn't see anything. Too. Yeah, it's very similar to Hartwell.
Yeah, that is scary.
Is Hartwell deep? Sorry to cut you off. It's deep there, right? The water?
There are parts of Hartwell that are... So there are parts of Hartwell that used to be towns. There are submerged structures down there in places. Like a small old-timey town is submerged down there. There are graveyards submerged down there. I don't know what the deepest point of Lake Hartwell is. I would guess it's 50, 60 feet is probably the deepest point of Lake Hartwell, would be my guess. I don't know, though.
If I die by falling 3,000 feet onto a water-filled cemetery, just leave me there. That's perfect. Like, that's great. Bury me right in the cemetery.
185 feet.
Oh.
Holy shit.
It's so deep.
It's so deep.
Yeah. I don't think I've been where it's that deep. Well, I'm in a boat, maybe. In a boat, who knows?
Yeah,
but I swim there, too. It's so hot. Just imagine it's like 95 southern degrees, right? The really humid kind. And you're working all day. What you think I'm doing is flying. What I'm actually doing is taking this rope and unwinding a winch while walking uphill and just like trudging. And you do that again and again and again as you like prep. You know, there's a lot more people flying than just me, so I'm getting them ready. And it is hot, exhausting work, so I go swimming. That's where all that was headed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other stuff that I wouldn't do now. One of them, absolutely, like swimming deep in a lake. Like I remember doing the same thing. Like we go to Lake of the Ozarks, which is probably similar to Hartwell in that you can't fucking see anything in it. Mm-hmm. And you just swim underwater, you're fucking around with your friends, and like now being like, oh, just being in the middle of that enormous lake as like the tube boat is coming back around to circle you, and you're just like, okay, I hope nobody got feisty and put alligators in here.
There are alligator gar in Lake Hartwell. There's quite a bit of them. No joke, they have found piranha in Lake Hartwell.
Well, that's not ideal.
Yeah, I vote against that.
Attacks?
Yeah. One thing that I did when I was like 13 that I wouldn't do now, we were at Jekyll Island, which is off the coast of Georgia. And it's just when you walk out into the ocean there, like, I don't know at what point it gets deeper than chest deep, but we didn't find it. Like, we walked until like the people were just tiny on the beach, and it was getting scary. And we're like feeling down for those conch shells. And we're like collecting them because I'm from fucking, you know, I've never seen a conch shell. So I don't think I had. I'd been to the beach before, but I'd never seen these things. And I'm just collecting like the biggest ones I can get. I want to take them home. And like every now and then one pokes your foot enough to make you bleed. Yeah. So we're out there in this chest deep water, at least 3/10 of a mile from the beach,
Bleeding.
and like bleeding. And I just remember it occurs to me, and I say to my buddy, that last one cut my foot. Because I like did it, I like roll back on my back and like pull my foot up and look. I'm like, I don't think we should be out here. He's like, yeah, I think I cut my foot on one too. I was like, we're out here bleeding and we're so far. I was like, I don't think there's a great white out here or anything, but like, even if there's a shark that's 3 feet long, I don't want to look like what if he takes my Achilles tendon off or something like that? We should go. We should go. I wouldn't do that again.
No, I wouldn't do that. No chance. The ocean has always spooked me though. Even when I was a kid, I get out, to the point where I can't stand, and it gets a little nerve-wracking.
Have you ever seen the subreddit Lassophobia?
Lassophobia? Yes. Afraid of a dog getting rabies and having to kill it?
That's it's the fear of the great unknown deep of the ocean.
Oh, the Lassophobia. Yeah, you've mentioned that before. And we looked at...
Yeah, it's like these pictures of like roiling waves and tidal pools and like underwater shots of like enormous whales and sharks. And
dude, fucking swish on that spelling. Boom, right there.
It's a video
First
you'll
time.
be talking about all day long.
Lassophobia. And that's made up. So there could have been any number of S's.
Make it 3 in a row.
This is just the guy that made the fucking Reddit's decision on the spelling. Yeah, this is a spooky phobia.
Yeah, that scares me.
Because we have no business there. We can't compete with anything.
We don't belong there.
Shit tier animals that get bullied in the ocean can bully us. Like the nerd table can fuck with us all day.
A seal
long.
could kill us pretty easily, like a sea lion or something. Like anything that can actually like belongs out there.
And even like, oh, you're the mountain, you're the biggest, strongest guy. Not after, 40 seconds of an animal that can hold its breath for 20 minutes trying to keep you down.
That's not where my head went. I went to Michael Phelps. Like, who would you pick to be your water fighter?
Where is it? Is it in a pool or is it in the ocean?
Aquaman.
Ooh, okay. Let's stick with real people. I mean, like, for example, John Jones, very good fighter. I'm not sure he's good if the water's deeper than his head.
I wouldn't think so. It doesn't look like much of a swimmer. I think I actually have seen him in the pool, and I remarked, "Oh, look, that one can swim." But
how would Michael Phelps even defeat the seal?
He wouldn't. He wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, what's the win condition? Because it seems like the only way for him to win is to escape with his life. Right.
I don't.
So
think
what is a seal's best weapon? The bite, right?
The bite. Yeah.
So what is Michael Phelps' best weapon? I think the eye gouge and a lesser bite.
He's such a slow piece of shit compared to a seal in the water. Like, he's not going to be able to be dexterous enough to be finding eyes as that thing comes in at 35 miles an hour and bites a chunk of his calf and keeps moving.
Is biting a great technique? I guess it is. Lots of animals use it. If I were to bite you, Taylor,
18 miles an hour.
Yeah, we're particularly bad at biting.
Yeah, I would be presenting all sorts of soft things I don't want hit to you if I were to try to attack with a bite. Is a seal? I guess it's better.
It's definitely better because its main point of attack is to bite. Our main point of attack or defense is our hands and our limbs.
Agreed.
I don't think the seal is what's going to kill you, though. It's that you're going to be so exhausted from defending yourself against the seal that you'll eventually drown.
Yeah, that's I should have said that.
Like, he's not going to let you get away. He's going to be like biting you in the ass the whole time, and you're going to stop swimming to try to fend him off, and that's going to go on for a long time.
As long as the seal chooses, probably.
As long as the seal chooses, I would imagine. He's loving it. This is fucking beach day for him.
Yeah,
he's having a great time.
It'll keep going until it won't even be when the seal wants to stop. It'll be when Michael Phelps dies. When he's when he can't kick anymore and he's so out of breath, and then the seal's like, "I'm not even hungry," and swims away.
I'm not suggesting that a seal would eat a person or even attack a person. They seem like pretty fun-loving, peaceful animals, but
no.
I'm just trying to illustrate how bad people are in the ocean.
I agree. So we do this thing where it's like, what animal could you beat up? And I always guess a little higher than the rest of you. Mm-hmm. What animal? What sea life could Michael Phelps beat up? It's pretty low.
Yeah, I think like a medium-sized octopus, like could probably take you. No, I'm going the other way. Could probably take a human down. Like I feel like if it wraps you up well enough, like I don't know if you can tear an octopus apart with your bare hands.
How big is a medium-sized octopus?
I'm picturing like its arms can like fully engulf like your chest.
It'd be like fighting.
I don't know how big an octopus.
Mid-sized.
I don't know how big an octopus.
Whenever I see them on video, they're like a little bigger than a human hand. Like maybe Michael Phelps's hand. You know,
I saw some of the aquarium in Florida once that were really big. Like,
some of them were huge.
It seemed like it had a wingspan bigger than mine.
I always see ones that could fit in a jar of jelly. Like,
oh yeah,
and I feel like it would wrap you up pretty quickly, because imagine like
beak.
You're fighting 8 snakes underwater that all have grippers, right?
With a beak in the middle.
And a beak in the middle. That's just the
yeah.
You just feel that beak. Like I don't think that, like it just stop.
You know, you'd be more afraid of like the sucker feeling where you're like, ew. Stop.
They catch fast-moving prey, so they must be able to move quickly.
They're super intelligent.
Yes.
They're some of the most intelligent things in the world.
Which is weird because their brains are small.
And they don't live very long at all. They have really short lifespans.
I didn't know that. Can you estimate it? Like
less than a year.
What?
Yeah, it says the giant Pacific octopus, 9.75 to 16 feet, 22 to 110 pounds, lives 3 to 5 years in the wild. I didn't realize they died so fast.
Me neither. How are they so smart? When I was 3, I couldn't open a jar. Maybe I could. I don't know.
I love when they open jars to get whatever's in the jar out. It's crazy.
Yeah, I like when they accidentally get caught in like fishing nets, and then like the sailors will like take video of it, like slithering around, figuring out like a quarter width slit in the boat, and it'll put its entire body through that somehow.
Yeah,
like it's just a bunch of bladders and membranes, and I don't know how it works, but it's pretty neat.
I saw there was some like squid or octopus, one or the other, in like a research facility, and it kept jumping out of its tank and going to another tank and like eating the fish that were in it, and they put a lock on the tank, but it was like reaching out and like undoing the latch and like getting back out again, so they had to put an actual lock on the tank, like that required a key.
One that would keep a person in there. Kyle, we talked about this as a topic pre-show. Joe Rogan talked about his GH usage.
Yeah.
He takes... So I watched the More Plates, More Dates video reacting to the Joe Rogan show. That's what I saw.
That's what I saw too.
Okay. I don't know what that unit of measurement that he takes is. He takes like 1 U or something?
One IU. That's an incredibly tiny amount.
What? I don't know how big an IU is.
It's.
I think when you take those tiny little.
I think it's pills, 1/100th of a milliliter.
Oh. Okay. So anyway, he takes a drop of GH, and what I really want to know about Joe Rogan is what he's done throughout the years, right? Because in some ways, like he won his fitness competition, he's strong. He's over 50 and he's healthy, it seems, active and strong. He's able to like be athletic when most guys over 50 can't do that anymore. So there's some good stuff there. There's also some cautionary tales, right? He seems to have some level of Palumboism, which if you don't know, you do, but like the people listening, is like a distended belly that weightlifters get sometime. There's another term for it. Doctors call it like dietetic neuropathy or something. Kyle, do you know this term?
I don't know the term. Yeah, I don't know what caused that. I think maybe that was a temporary thing. Like maybe he was just bloated, and on top of that, like he's so short and he's got like a Ninja Turtle type core.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe it was a perfect storm that I'd like to see him like right now and see what's going on. I think that's often caused by bodybuilders who are using like insulin and growth hormone. You know, the growth hormone I think makes their internal organs grow. And
GH does something to insulin sensitivity that makes you effectively diabetic. I'm 80%
in
right
high
on this.
doses, I think maybe. Yeah.
I think
so.
Derek seemed to think the dose he was taking now was either completely fine or do it for such a long period of time that it built up, right? Like, did you hear the same thing I did?
I didn't hear him say anything about it building up. I don't. That doesn't make sense to me with my limited knowledge of GH. But like 1 IU is like I see what bodybuilders do, and usually it seems like it's like 4 to 6 or 4 to 8, somewhere in there. And like I think Derek mentioned like guys who did 15 IUs a day. He described 1 IU as like growth hormone replacement therapy,
Right.
essentially, like to get you to the sort of the medium high level like range of normal. That it's not really about enhanced anything. It's just like, okay, you've got as much growth hormone as you really need.
You've
no
got
more, no
as
less.
much as a good person would have.
Yeah. Kind of like, like 150 milligrams of testosterone, like similar situation. Like you're not on a steroid cycle, but you've got as much testosterone as you need, maybe even a little bit more because of how steady the levels are. I don't think he's ever done any steroids, Rogan, like any real steroids. I think he's just been on TRT and maybe like at some points he's been on like heavier doses of TRT, like if he wanted to like pack on some pounds, or like he really wanted to see what it was like to go from 150 to 250 to 450 or something. But I don't like just hearing him talk about steroids. It doesn't seem like he really knows a ton about them.
I have suspicions that he's been on higher doses because he did a pretty significant body transformation. He packed on a lot of mass. If you look at Joe Rogan from 15 years ago, he's not nearly as strong as he is now. And he also has, I think he has Palumboism. You think that maybe that was just a bad day. I'm open to the idea that I'm wrong, but it's in my head that he has this distended belly, and that's just kind of a permanent growth thing that's happened. His gut is bigger than it should be, than it would have been if he had never done drugs. And I don't know, but I don't even know that it's bad. Like I made a similar argument with plastic surgery sometimes. They say, look at this person. She doesn't look quite perfect. Something's odd about her. And I think, aha, but you're comparing her to the perfect her from 20 years ago. Yeah. You need to compare her to the alternate universe where she just aged. And I bet that doesn't look so hot either.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. We've made this point a few times. I agree completely. Let me see what Goldie Hawn looks like, because last time I saw her, it was a goddamn nightmare.
Okay. Yeah. There's some that she just botched surgeries, but
like she's really old for one thing. Like,
actually,
are you looking at her now?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And again, she doesn't look quite right, but in my pictures anyway, she doesn't look hideous either. I'll show you the one that I'm focused on.
Okay, so show the audience that picture, and then I want to show you like the cover art for the movie she just did with Kurt Russell.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. I noticed it like in my feed, and
to be honest, in this picture, I don't know how old she is. Can you guys look up how old she is?
My guess is
60 something, I guess.
67 to 73. Because like she was like hot when I was born.
She's 75.
75.
So she looks good for 75 in these pictures anyway.
You think she looks good there? All right, so open this up and then like click the like the title of the movie, and it'll get big. So like this is called Christmas Chronicles 2.
Oh goodness.
Right?
I mean, with that level of artistry, I look like I belong in Fight Club.
They just drew her jawline on there, like
yeah,
that looks like your jawline.
like, better.
It's a made-up movie.
Her skin is that of a 18-month-old. I mean, it's over the top.
It's like perfect. And she's look. I every now and then when I'm in the grocery store, I'll see like the tabloids, and they'll have those mean fucking candid celebrity photos. And like the last time I saw one of her, she looked like the fucking Crypt Keeper.
And but those guys are like the Hollywood Inquirer or whatever, they have the opposite. They have their own Photoshop department where they're like adding wrinkles and scars and like tattoos,
black eyes.
Yeah.
Fucking throw a syringe in their hand. Yeah.
So here's
those people are scum of the earth.
Yeah,
she doesn't look so good in this one, but she's also 75.
She looks awesome for 75.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a great grandmother.
Yeah. You know what my grandmothers look like at 75?
Whew, they were dead.
None of them made it. None of them made it that far.
Ooh, nice try.
So
73 is where you're making it.
that's dangerously accurate.
No, yeah, I agree with that point completely. Yeah, I got no problem with the way Joe Rogan looks because I think like everybody gives him a hard time. It's like, all right, first of all, he's 50. Second of all, like
Over.
he's older, 53 or whatever he is. Like
He's in the top 0.5% of 50-year-olds.
yeah, as far as physical fitness goes, for sure. And like, yeah, I think his head has grown some. And I think that's what happens when you do like 20 years of growth hormone. I wouldn't recommend growth hormone as a substance. If you're happy with your current facial structure, maybe leave it alone. If you're already kind of a fugly guy, like who knows, maybe you'll grow a better looking head, you know? But Rogan was like a good looking guy. Like when he was on news radio, he's got nice bone structure.
He looks like a normal guy.
It's also expensive. So
it's super expensive.
one of the things growth hormone does is it helps your like tendons and joints and stuff stay really healthy. So in the last year, not right now actually, but I had this issue with my elbow right here. I'm sure I mentioned it now and then. Like it's called golfer's elbow and some other things, and I had issues with it from overdoing it on pull-ups and from my acro flying. I was like, if I was on growth hormone, then this would be like a solution to that. My tendons would be bulletproof. I looked into it. It's over 10 grand a year. That's a lot.
If you found it for that, then buy.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's even more.
I mean, I don't, I see it for a lot more than that. You can take this stuff. This is what Rogan was talking about that aids in the healing. This is that peptide BPC 157.
It says not for human use.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
What use is it?
Well, don't take it. I mean, but if you had an animal with some tendon issues, you could probably give this peptide to that animal, and it would just sort its tendon issues right out.
I want to stand behind a company that isn't even confident enough to recommend their product for human consumption.
I don't think it's confidence that's holding them back, Taylor.
Yeah, more the FDA. Yeah,
that's my suspicion too.
FDA. No,
I noticed like one page over, they're selling clenbuterol. So
what is that?
I'm pretty sure it's like something they give to horses for like so that they like can take in more oxygen or something. Like it's maybe a vasodilator. But I'm pretty. It's a performance enhancing drug. I think that athletes use too.
So more oxygen. It sounds like a cardio drug.
I think so. I'm probably about 40% right on this, most likely.
I've done
a lot of clenbuterol research, but I've read every time I'm reading online about like what someone was on or got caught taking, clen is often like part of the mix.
Is this UFC stuff?
Just athletes in general.
Okay. Yeah, I really only pay attention to UFC fighters that get caught on peds. I can hardly name another. Maybe a track athlete now and then. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, Joe Rogan to me is a little like Goldie Hawn.
It's a bronchodilator. Yeah.
A little like Goldie Hawn in that, is she a 19-year-old hottie? No. Is she way outperforming her age group? Yeah, I think so.
She was so hot. Like, there's this movie that they did together called Overboard. You ever see Overboard?
That might be her peak.
She's so fucking hot. Overboard is about Kurt Russell is like this. He lives in like the Pacific Northwest and he's like a carpenter and he gets hired to work on her yacht. And he's like putting in a new closet for her yacht. And she's being despicable to him the whole time. She's just uber millionaire and she's there with her husband or whatever. And they're both super fucking snotty. And she doesn't even pay him because she like doesn't like the wood he used or something like that. He used pine or cedar or something and she wanted mahogany or whatever the fuck. She throws his tools over the side of her yacht. He needed those tools to support his children. And then like they sail out of like town, like leaving. Well, she falls overboard. She might have gotten pushed in the water by her husband. I don't remember that little detail, but she gets amnesia. And when she wakes up, the local people in town are trying to figure out who this lady is. And the only one that recognizes her is Kurt Russell. And he's like, Annie, oh, come on back home, honey. I'll take care of you. And he like tells her that he's her husband and like brings her home, and he's got her like doing chores and like looking after all these bratty ass kids and like getting his revenge on her. And they end up falling in love.
Oh.
And at the end, he's like, are you really gonna give up all that money, all that, that wealth to be with me? She's like, oh honey, the money's all mine. It's just like, it's great. It's a great ending. It's a fun 80s movie.
Yeah.
A fun 80s movie.
It really
he nailed
is.
it.
And what is that called again? You said
Overboard.
Overboard.
Yeah, and she's super hot. And Kurt Russell is like kind of in his prime too.
I was watching this movie recently on like an Amazon Prime. I was working on my laptop out in my living room, and I was like, just during the day, I'm like, I want to put on something. So I just go to like it says top suggested for you. I just scrolled over a couple, and I was like, Assault on Wall Street. Some violent action movie that I guarantee I'm not going to have to pay attention to. And every once in a while I can look up and see people getting shot. Cool, whatever. And I start like I'm paying 10% attention, and then I'm paying like 25, 30, 50. But within like 15 minutes, like I'm paying almost full attention to this, not getting as much work done. And it's not because it was like so great or anything, but like I thought it was going to be, because it was made right around the time of the collapse and everything, the stock market. And I'm talking about like everybody's losing their job, losing everything that they have, their life savings, their pensions, everything's getting lost. And it's this dude who's got like a wife with cancer, obviously. They can't afford the treatment. And the whole time, like to add like a prerequisite to that sadness is like her being like, I always wish we could have had children together someday. And like that kind of thing. And it gets sadder and sadder. You're half an hour into this 90-minute movie. It's still amping up the sadness. Like that he gets fired because his job is a security guy who guards the money at the bank. And so he delivers the money in those trucks. And so like he's taking out another mortgage on his house. He's calling about his, finances and everything. And they go to him and they're like, hey, we can't have a guy that guards money having financial troubles. We found out about it. Sorry, but you're fired. We can't have a guy with financial troubles guarding money. You understand it. We'll lose all our clients. He's mad about it. And then he's like, I got to get every cent of money I can out of my accounts. I have all my money invested with this guy that I trust. And he goes and talks to that guy. And the guy's like, hey, I'm so sorry. It's not me who made these calls. It's a guy way above me, but there's a bunch of red tape. It's going to be some attorneys, but not only do you have no money, the firm where you held your money is filing a claim that you actually are liable for $60,000 additional. And so he's like, now I'm broke and I owe even more money, and it's still amping up. And then like they threaten him with legal action, and he goes to some skeevy attorney who's like, I'm not a banker. I'm not going to tell you that, but seems like stocks are similar to attorneys. You're going to get what you pay for. My retainer's $10,000. Don't waste my time. I'll get them to drop that $60K on you. Guaranteed, sir, guaranteed. But it's going to take 10 grand. Keep me happy here. And he's like, then he's going around like, now I got to find 10 grand so that I don't owe $60,000 on all the money that I lost. And like just one really nice gentleman who he works with is like, I don't have any family or friends. Here's 10 grand. Keep it. I don't even want it. And so that was really nice. And so he pays off the attorney starts working. And as like he's working on that, trying to figure it out, the wife is shown back at home, and she finds out the truth about their financial situation, right? Where he'd been keeping her in the dark because he didn't want her to know how much this was bankrupting them and everything. And so she finds all the papers and she's like, oh my God, we're in the hole. So she goes upstairs and kills herself.
Jesus.
in his bed. And she does it in a way like a killed yourself prank, where it was like I would just, I guess, drive into the garage, do something clean. She takes a knife, she lays in bed, takes a knife, slits her wrist, and then pulls the covers over it. And so he comes home, and he's like, Susan, are you okay? And then pulls it off, and he's like, like because he sees his dead wife covered in blood. And the rest of the movie, like it's over halfway of just, but the whole time you've seen this guy's entire mental state crack. So then, like, he's like making cracks at one point to like to cops and his security friends, where he's like, what are you? We're so sorry. Like, we're always here for you. He's like, yeah, it's these goddamn bankers. Oh, I gotta go. Don't contact me. And he just leaves. And then immediately, like the next day, like that shows them back at the coffee shop. Like, you hear about this string of banking murders out of nowhere? And he gets weapons. He starts practicing in the train station because he is like a former military guy. And he just starts. It's scene after rapid fire scene of like him finding a note. Newspaper clipping it out, and it'll say like, Steve Johnson how I made $150 million for my firm on the back of the most difficult financial blah blah blah, and he just like put that on his wall, and then he would show him like going into a parking garage assassinating a dude, and then he would just take the scope and look for anyone else in the building in a suit and just bang. But you're just killing everyone in the building, and then he would lock it up, get out there, and then he'd go home, put a big red X through that person, and he is murdering dozens of them. It culminates at one point where the guy who lost all his money initially was talking to him, and that guy doesn't know that he lost his wife and everything, and that he's in the midst of a killing spree. Like, he's killed 20 people.
He's mid-rampage.
He's mid-rampage, and it's just he's like, hey, you know what? I know we lost a bunch of money on that last deal, but I'd love to talk to you about some new ideas. And the guy is like, I would love to talk to you about it. He's like, we're going to meet here in this lobby at this big area right in the financial sector. How about 10:30 a.m.? The other guy's like, okay, cool. And you would think he's going to assassinate that guy at 10:30. That entire setup was the distraction. He waits for that guy to start going into the building. Everybody's walking around. He caps this guy in the back of the head. And because it's like lunchtime on Wall Street, there's tons of them, and there's a bunch of people in glass buildings looking out, and he just starts aiming at corner offices and killing everyone in the corner office of all the buildings. Jesus. And while everybody is freaking out about that, like there's pandemonium, there's mayhem everywhere in the streets, and he like locks up his gun, burns everything, still has 2 pistols on, and he just walks into an adjacent building which had the actual firm he wanted to fuck with, not the building he was shooting at, and everybody's rushing to the one he just shot and threw bombs at. I forgot they're bombs. And then he goes into this, he like slowly walking into this other building. He's still 30 feet from the door, and there's pandemonium happening. And he takes out just a white like theater mask and puts it on. He just starts walking through, and then he gets up to the floor of the building that held all his money and turned it into worthless paper receipts, and just indiscriminately opens it up. There's just like a bunch of clerks, bunch of like stockbrokers and sellers and everything. And he murders every single person. I'm like literally dozens of people. He's boom, 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 boom. Goes in to the final guy, and the final guy's giving him the speech of like, I'm a winner. I'll always be a winner, and you'll always be a fucking loser, like that kind of thing. And it's like, you wouldn't talk like this to this maniac,
right? And
then what he does is he tricks the guy. He knows because he has cameras bugged up because he's a secret genius that he tricks the banker into picking up his gun that's not loaded right as the SWAT team's coming in. So the SWAT team kills him instead. They got the banker. They don't kill him. And then he walks out, and just happenstance, his 2 New York police officer friends are the ones who are like about to arrest him. And then without any words, they're both just kind of like, get out of here.
You rascal.
He murdered dozens, like 40 or 50 people.
I love the idea that he faces off against like the final boss, and it's Gordon Gekko.
Yeah.
He's just talking about greed is good.
Yeah, I think it's called Assault on Wall Street, and it kept me pretty engaged. It was so silly though.
Have you ever seen Death Wish?
You know what? I think I have. I'm
thinking about we've been talking about doing like a group watch in the 50 Discord of a movie. Yeah. And I think that would be a good one. You've never seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Maybe like Wednesday night or something like that. I'll rent it, and then we'll all watch it together in the Discord, because
it'd be fun.
So like basically it's the story of this man whose wife gets raped, and I think to death, or maybe she kills herself. It's a little foggy because it's been so long since I've seen the first one. The character's name's Paul Kersey, but I'm trying to look up like what that actor's name is because I can't think of it. And it matters to me. I can't go on until I know.
This is the bad guy in Death Wish?
Charles Bronson. Charles Bronson.
The head guy.
So like classic action hero. Charles Bronson did all those westerns and shit. Just a bad motherfucker. All right, so Jeff Goldblum rapes his wife, and like maybe she kills herself, or maybe he rapes her to death. I don't remember which, but he fucking just downward spiral of depression. And he's an architect in New York City, and his boss is like, "Look, you need some time off." Or he's, "No, I need to be focused on my work." He's like, "All right, well, look, we've got a firm out in the Southwest, down in Arizona that needs a whole, like shopping center like designed. How about you go and take care of that one? Then you can do both at the same time. You get out of the city, you get a little time off, and you can work there." All right, fine. So he goes, and the guy that he's working with out there is kind of like a cowboy. They're in the Southwest, and they become really good pals as he's doing the architecture for this shopping center or whatever. And on the way back home, he's like, "Hey, I got you a gift. Don't open it till you get home, though." He's like, all right. It's just this little box. He gets home and he cracks it open. It's a pistol. And he's like, oh, that's cool. So he just starts walking the streets of New York at night, putting himself in the most dangerous situations you can possibly imagine until people start fucking with him, and then he just murders them. like he just rides the subway late at night by himself, like flashing money and stuff. Like
trying to goad people.
Yeah, and 3 punks try to like rob him, and he just kills them all. It's just like that scene in The Joker. That scene in The Joker was totally lifted from Death Wish.
Was it like an homage to Death Wish?
Yeah, at best. He's just killing everyone. Apparently it's a true story. And so like they start running stories in the paper calling him the vigilante killer. And people are like, "He's doing a good job. We need more people like him." And the cops are like, "We don't stand for vigilantism." And then like the people are being interviewed. They love it. And he just kills a swath of like thugs in New York. That's the end of the movie. Well, don't worry, because there's like 5 Death Wish movies. And in every movie, he's
the same thing.
He's gotten it out of his system, He's like, all right, well, my wife's gone, but I've still got my little girl. Don't worry. And then they rape his daughter, and she commits suicide. And he's just like she's like, at like every movie they rape his girl. Then after that, they might like rape his girlfriend, and like then after that they kill his old like army buddy or something like that. Every movie they take something else from him. And he was old in the first Death Wish. Like he's like, I don't know. It was the 70s. So 60-year-old men looked 80, So like he's like, but he looks old in the first Death Wish movie. And by the 5th one, they're trying to make him still look athletic. And he's out jogging wearing like Rocky Balboa type gear with like a stocking cap and stuff. And he looks 105.
The Steven Seagal of his day.
I'm looking at the pictures because I typed in Death Wish 5 to see what he looks like. This guy is so old. He's standing there next to a woman 30 years his junior, like holding a gun in a way where his face is saying like, "My back hurts." More than it is that he's mad. He's frumpy and overweight.
So here's let's watch this clip. This is from Death Wish 3.
He's got Donald Trump style hair.
Yeah. This is from Death Wish 3.
This is going to be silly. Because you like Death Wish, but I remember it as an unrealistic, silly movie. But we'll see. I could be wrong.
That's why I like it.
Okay.
I don't think of it as like a serious like nowadays you would get a movie like John Wick would be like that's like a good revenge movie. But in the 70s, this is it.
Are you ready?
Yep. I am queued at 0.
Ready, set, play.
Thanks for
this whole neighborhood is like full of punks, and he's moved into the neighborhood to clean house.
She's like, "Thanks." She hasn't checked out yet. All he did is give you something to buy.
Yeah.
Oh, see this portrayal of punks.
Is he like a Satanist? Product placement. So he doesn't even want the camera back.
No.
That stole my pocketbook 3 weeks ago. All right.
They're all cheering.
I love it.
That's that creep stole my pocketbook last week.
Look, they all came out of the windows. Look at this. This is like Rocky.
They're treating him like Santa. Like they're so excited.
Man.
That's a 475.
He killed the
Wildy
giggler?
Magnum, by the way.
What's his name? The Giggler?
Yeah.
Yeah. They killed the giggler, man.
I have to watch this. That's hilarious.
That pistol he's got is absurd. It's made for like African elephant or something like that. It's a 475 Wildy Magnum. Like, I've never even seen one outside of Death Wish 3. That's the only place I've ever seen it.
And in that shot, didn't the gun switch between the aiming shot and the firing shot? The gun he was using?
No, that's the same gun. No. But it did blow a hole in the guy's back big enough to put a fucking orange in.
He had an exit wound in the entry point.
Yeah. That's just how big the entrance wound is with a 475 caliber hand cannon.
I don't know about that, but okay.
I don't either. There's one part in that movie where they kill his last friend, and they just start assaulting the building that Paul Kersey is in, and he comes out with a 1919 Browning machine gun that's got a belt of ammunition laid over his arm, and he's just like a belt-fed machine gun, just mowing down infinite amounts of punks.
After he walks around with expensive merchandise hanging out of his pockets.
Yeah, pretty well. He gave up the whole subterfuge of like the whole. He didn't have his Nikon anymore. He was just like, yeah, now it's war, and he just murders them all.
He's hunting.
Yeah.
It's full of one-liners, and it's funny as shit. Like he walks outside at one point in Death Wish 3, and these guys are literally just stealing the radio out of his fucking car. He's like, hey, what are you doing? And they're like, what's it to you? And he's like, it's my car. And then he just kills him. like he kills so many people in those movies. Like
you.
There's probably that thing that Colin likes to watch where it's got like the body count.
Yeah, my son loves that. He was talking to me about that in the gym today. Just, Dad, do you like to watch the body count before or after the movie? After. I don't want to know everyone that dies, but yeah,
we'll ruin it.
I don't know. It makes Saving Private so much better knowing.
All right, call to wrap.
Yeah.
PKN 331.